You can be aware without thoughts, and I can prove it. You can be aware, even when you're not thinking. I know that sounds impossible, right? Our mind is a constant chatterbox, a non-stop narrator for every single thing we do. But I'm going to prove to you that it's possible. Right now. I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Am I aware right now? That feeling you just had, in that tiny pause, that quiet, clear sense of knowing you're here, that is pure awareness. It's the space where thoughts show up. In this video, we're going to explore what that state is, and I'll show you the fascinating science that says it's not only real, but it's the key to a calmer, more focused mind. Section 1. The problem. The non-stop inner narrator. Does your mind ever feel like it's racing? Like you're trapped inside your own head, stuck in a loop of worries, to-do lists, and weirdly random commentary? If you're nodding, you're not alone. That's the default setting for most of us. We get so wrapped up in the voice in our head that we think it is us. We think we are our thoughts. Honestly, it's exhausting. This constant mental noise fuels anxiety, creates stress, and yanks us right out of the present moment. We're so busy thinking about life that we forget to actually live it. We react to our thoughts as if they're gospel, getting angry, sad, or scared based on a story our mind is spinning. This locks us in a cycle of suffering, held captive by a narrator who just won't shut up. But what if that narrator isn't the real you? What if you're the silent listener, the awareness behind the voice? Ancient traditions have talked about this for thousands of years, and now modern neuroscience is finally starting to draw the map. Section 2. The promise. The peace of pure awareness. So here's the big idea. You can exist in a state of pure, thought-free awareness. This isn't about trying to force your thoughts to stop, which, let's be real, is impossible. It's about shifting your sense of self, from being the thoughts to being the awareness that just notices them. Imagine your thoughts are clouds floating by in the sky. You aren't the clouds. You're not the storm, the fog, or even the clear day. You are the sky itself, the vast, open, unchanging space where all that weather happens. The clouds might get dark and stormy or stay light and fluffy, but the sky remains untouched. Realizing this is the secret to a profound sense of peace. This state is often called pure awareness or thoughtless awareness. It's a state of simply being, not doing. It's an alert, calm, and intuitive consciousness that operates without all the mental gymnastics. And the best part? Accessing it is a skill anyone can learn. Section 3. The proof, the science, and the sages. Okay, so where's the proof? How do we know this isn't just some nice poetic idea? This is where we blend ancient wisdom with some seriously cool science. First, let's talk about the sages. For millennia, traditions like Buddhism, Advaita Vedanta, and yogic philosophy have explored the nature of consciousness in incredible detail. They described a fundamental state of narrative-free awareness, where the mind is present, but not caught up in its usual storytelling. They called it the witness, the seer, or pure consciousness, an empty yet vibrant space that is the source of all experience. For them, this wasn't a theory. It was a direct experience you could verify for yourself through practices like meditation. Now let's see what happens in the brain when people actually find this state. This is where the scientists come in. Neuroscientists are using tools like fMRI and EEG to peek inside the brains of long-term meditators, and what they're finding is remarkable. Studies on practices like Sahaja Yoga meditation have found that as people enter this state of thoughtless awareness, their brainwave patterns shift. They show increased theta wave connectivity, a brainwave signature linked to deep, internalized focus between different parts of the brain. This points to a state of incredible inner calm and emotional control, even as the mind's usual chatter fades. Other research on mindfulness shows it can quiet down what's known as the default mode network, or DMN. You can think of the DMN as your brain's autopilot mode. It's what's fired up when you're daydreaming, worrying about the future, or stuck thinking about the past. Experienced meditators show less activity in this network, which lines up perfectly with their experience of feeling less distracted and more present. But, and this is important, science hasn't totally cracked the code on consciousness yet. Far from it. In a landmark experiment published in Nature, back in April 2025, scientists put two of the leading theories of consciousness head-to-head, and guess what? Neither one could fully explain the results. This didn't give us a clear answer. Instead, it showed us that the link between brain activity and our conscious experience is way more mysterious than we thought. And to make things even more interesting, recent findings from November 2025 on split-brain patients added another twist. Researchers discovered that even a tiny thread of nerve connections between the brain's two halves can be enough to create a single, unified consciousness. This complicates that simple sky metaphor a bit and suggests our sense of a single, whole self relies on complex pathways we're just starting to map. So science doesn't give us a neat and tidy proof. Instead, it offers fascinating clues. It shows that the state of narrative-free awareness the sages described has real, measurable effects in the brain. The science validates that something profound is happening when you quiet the narration and just become aware. By the way, if you're finding this exploration of your own mind helpful, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We go deep on these kinds of topics every week, blending science and wisdom to help you live a more conscious life. Section 4. The practice. Your direct proof. Now for the part that actually matters. I've talked about sages and scientists, but the only proof that will ever truly convince you is your own. This is where you prove it to yourself. So, let's try a quick, simple experiment together. Go ahead and close your eyes, or just lower your gaze for the next 60 seconds. First, just bring your attention to the feeling of your breath. Notice the air coming in through your nose, filling your lungs, and the gentle release on the exhale. No need to change a thing. Just notice it. Pause for 15 seconds. As you do this, thoughts are going to pop up. That's totally fine. The goal isn't to fight them. It's just to notice them. See if you can watch a thought arrive, hang out for a second, and then watch it leave, just like a cloud passing through the sky. Pause for 20 seconds. Now, here's the key question. Who or what is aware of the breath? Who or what is aware of the thoughts? Can you feel that quiet, observing presence in the background? The one that's aware of the breath, aware of the thoughts, but isn't a breath or a thought itself. Pause for 10 seconds. Okay, you can open your eyes. That awareness you just tapped into, that is you. That is the awareness that's there even when there are no thoughts. You might have noticed a tiny gap between thoughts. In that gap, you didn't vanish. You were still there, clear, present, and silent. That, right there, is your direct proof. Section 5. The prescription. Cultivating awareness in daily life. Feeling this once is cool, but learning to weave it into your daily life is where the real change happens. And you don't need to meditate for hours a day. You can practice finding that thought-free space in tiny moments. Here are 3 easy ways to start. 1. The one-breath anchor. Before you grab your phone, before you reply to an email, before you walk into a room, just pause. Take one single conscious breath. For that one breath, all you have to do is feel the physical sensation of breathing. That's it. This tiny habit pulls you out of the thought stream and anchors you in the here and now. 2. Sensory wake-up. Pick a mundane activity you do every day, like washing the dishes, brushing your teeth, or drinking your coffee. Instead of letting your mind drift, pour all of your attention into the physical sensations. Feel the warm water on your hands, the texture of the sponge, the smoothness of the plate. Ground your awareness in what you're actually experiencing. This quiets the inner narrator by focusing on reality instead of its stories. 3. Ask the question. Anytime you feel overwhelmed by a thought or an emotion, just ask yourself the question from our practice. What is aware of this thought? Or what is aware of this feeling? This question works like a magic trick. It instantly creates a shift in perspective. You go from being stuck in the thought to being the observer of the thought. You step out of the storm and into the quiet, open space of the sky. Conclusion. We started with a bold claim. You can be aware without thoughts. And as we've seen, this isn't just a nice philosophy. It's a real, tangible experience that sages have explored for centuries, and that modern neuroscience is finally beginning to map. While the science is still evolving and full of mystery, it clearly shows that something distinct happens in your brain when you access this state of calm, present awareness. But the most important discovery is the one you just made for yourself. That quiet, steady awareness is always there, waiting for you. You are not the chatter in your head. You are the silent space in which that chatter happens. By using the simple techniques we talked about, you can start to identify more with this awareness and less with your thoughts. That is the path to less anxiety, sharper focus, and a genuine sense of inner peace. You are the sky, not the clouds. Never forget that.